Okay, so this is a video about sentence fragments. A sentence fragment is incomplete. It is missing something. Well, what makes a complete sentence? In order to be complete, you need a subject and a verb, and you have to have a complete thought. Just remember, if you're missing a subject or a verb, you may end up with a fragment. For instance, let's look at the sentence, I walked. I is your subject, walked is your verb. So you're good here. What if you want to add a detail like, I walk the dog? That's fine. The dog is something that is called the direct object, which is getting a little fancy for our taste, but no big deal. The idea is I walked what? Walked the dog. It's directly receiving the action of the walking. Now, let's look at another sentence. Today is awesome. So, today is my subject, is my verb. I'm still good. Awesome is also known as the subjective complement, which again is more terminology, but the awesome is just complementing the subject today. So those sentences are both complete. There are two tests in order to see if your sentence is a fragment. The first one is to add the words I believe that to the beginning of your sentence. So for instance, if you take the sentence that we had before, which is I walk the dog, I add I believe that I walk the dog. Okay, I believe that I walk the dog. You sound very British, but it works for you. Okay, let's try that with another sentence, like the dog running down the street. If I add my believe that here, it's going to give me a problem. For instance, I believe that the dog running down the street. What about the dog running down the street? It kind of leaves me hanging. I don't know what I'm supposed to believe about that dog. I need to add more words. For instance, I believe that the dog running down the street belongs to my neighbor. Ah, there we go. Now here's the second test to determine if your sentence is a fragment. You add isn't it to the end. It may end up sounding a little snippy here, but that's okay. So for instance, if your sentence is today is awesome, you end up with today is awesome, isn't it? You sound uncertain, but the sentence is logical. Now, the big question on everyone's mind, how can I revise my sentence fragments? Well, you have two options, really. The first one is just to add a subject. Sentences need subjects. The other one is to add a verb. And if you have a subject and you have a verb and they're both acting as subjects and verbs, then you should have no problem here. Let's try this out. If my sentence is, because my clock was slow. Well, clock is my subject and was is my verb, but what about because? And I think I'm missing something here. What happens if I add I was late to class? I think that's going to work for me here. I was late to class because my clock was slow. Now, I is my subject and was is my verb, and I am good to go. No more questions. Okay, so let's try this with a slightly harder sentence. If you have something like skipping ahead to the end of the book, I don't know if you guys do that, but I do. We have sort of a verb here, right? Skipping, but we don't have a subject and it's just leaving us hanging. I don't know who's skipping or where. So if I add something like skipping ahead to the end of the book, she saw that the hero did not survive. Oh, all right, that makes sense. Now you want to be careful here and not to switch the sentence around like sometimes we do, because if you say something like she saw that the hero did not survive skipping ahead to the end of the book, it's like the hero died because you read ahead. I didn't know that reading was that dangerous. Now let's try this with a simple sentence. You'd be surprised how often this happens, even though it seems very basic. If you have then decided to go home, decided is your verb, but you need a subject, she. Now, this gets tricky because we want to add stuff like she was tired and she decided to go home, or she was tired and decided to go home. Either way, you want a subject and a verb in order for your sentence to be complete. You have to have a complete thought.